All right. All right. All right. What's up, folks? Today is November the 3rd, 2024. It's the day before Election Day. Yeah. Well, who knows what the market will look like tomorrow? I'm not even going to get into that right now. But so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a script that will look at if we have a higher low, then we want to see how often that higher low will lead to a move. We'll say a move in the upward direction. So I'm just going to show you generally what I'm talking about here. Bear with me. Let's put the 5-minute time frame for ES. This is futures. All right, so this is 5-minute time frame. So specifically what I'm talking about is you see how you have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then you have a break of this lower high right there, right? So the question is if you were to take this break right here, if you were to consider this amount, this bar's length here to be your risk, if you were to move this bar up, if you would move this bar up there, would you take profit before this bar actually came down here? And actually we'll be looking at the close. So the close would be here. If we set our stop loss right here at the break of the bar, then the question, oh, that looks even better. The question, no, that doesn't look better. All right, because again, we're looking for the break of the candle there. So the break of the candle will be here, and the bottom of the candle would be right here. So if we were to look at that length of that candle from there to there, the question is, would we take profit up here first? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a parallel. Or would we get stopped out down here first? Okay, so if you look at this, it looks like you would effectively get stopped out first, right? So you get stopped out. I mean, it did try to make that run, that length, but you might have got stopped out first. So then the question would be, all right, well, instead of looking for that full length range to exit, would you look for maybe 3/4 the range? If you look for 3/4 range, then you're looking here, and then your stop loss would be what, right around here? Well, in that case, you would make it. So anyway, I'm going to put together a script that looks at that. I'm going to show you what I've been working on recently. It's called the pre-bull pattern, essentially. So all these are different patterns, right? So if you're typically looking at a pattern, or if you're looking at a trend, you're looking for higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. What sequence you're looking for that in? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We're trying to find out if we have a bullish candle. If we have a bullish candle that's at least, I think I said like 1.5 times the length of the average true range, right? So if you take the average range of all these candles and then you multiply that by 1.5 times, 1 3/4 times, and you say that is the condition of the bullish candle that you're looking for, then if this is your target type of candle, how many times does this happen on a chart, right? Happens there, maybe. I mean, I don't know where it happens. We'll have to look at the script. Happens there, maybe. All right, so whenever you have these to actually happen, I want the script to look back through the candles, and I want it to say, all right, well, when just prior to having that large bullish bar, you had a swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high. So you had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, so what I essentially did was I took that swing high, took that script, everything went into an Excel file. Everything went into this Excel file here. Okay, and then I use all the information, right? So you open it up to an Excel file, and then it would write to the file into all these cells, and then I concatenated the information there. So I think on another script, instead of having it go into 3 different cells, I actually went ahead and concatenated it within the script. So I would get this here. Now, so out of this here, you have all these different possibilities: lower high, higher low, higher low, higher high, lower high, higher low. You got all these different possibilities. It goes down. I mean, you know, the number of possibilities, it's a lot, right? Or so at least these are all the different combinations, right? So you have 568 combinations. That means that we have 568 bars that we found that met the criteria. So now out of those 568 combinations, how many unique combinations are there? All right, so you use this script, right? So this is for Excel. You type in the word unique, and then you put in your array, and this whole column here is the array. And then now, so out of all those 568 or so, this is the number of unique possibilities. It's only like 56 or so, right? Unique possibilities. Now, out of all these unique possibilities, how many times did each one of these unique possibilities occur within this 568 different combinations? So then we find that most often a higher low, higher high, higher low, boom, was what preceded one of those larger bullish movements. So this is just using a little bit of statistical analysis to help find out what conditions lead to what we're looking for specifically. All right, so this is what I was looking for, that the range of my candle was greater than 1.5 times the average true range of 7 candles, and it was a bullish candle, and it had a higher high and a higher low. All right, now I did something also for so this was based on like a 3 or 4 bar swing level. Now this here was based on a 20 swing level, a 20 bar swing level. And so since there was more bars that I was looking at, I actually asked for a greater number of swing points. And you see here I have 5 swing points: higher high, higher low, lower low, higher high, higher low. Out of all those, you got this many that are unique. And out of those, it wasn't the same. There wasn't as much of a. There weren't. There were a lot of unique possibilities here because there's a greater number of elements, 5 elements versus 3 elements. So there are a greater number of possibilities here. That being said, a lot of these just showed up once or twice. I mean, this one showed up 3 times. This one showed up 3 times. So this one showed up 4 times. So this might be what you consider to be the winner here. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. But what I did was I pulled this out just because I seem to find that these happen most often. Anyway, that's a whole other script, and that's not really what I set out to do right now. Although what I'm supposed to be doing is something similar. I don't know. I've already forgotten what the exam is, what the assignment is. Already forgotten. But I did want to show you this. Okay, and so this is the 5-minute time frame that we're looking at here. The kind of like this heat map. You see that higher low, higher high, higher low. The way that I copied and pasted and made it so that these values would populate. This higher low, higher high, higher low will always be blue. This lower high, lower low, lower high will always be yellow, so forth and so on. So this is a 5-minute time frame. If we move over to the 1-minute time frame, you see the blue still is in the lead. Yellow moves up some. 15-minute time frame, blue, that same sequence is still in the lead. So all right, and then so on the 15-second time frame, still that higher low, higher high, higher low, still in the lead. All right, and so I pretty much just took that and then we move it over to our chart. So on our chart, I still have it color coded where the blues happen here. You see the blues happen here, and you would take, essentially the way that you'd want to trade is you take that first entry. So this would be your first entry. Obviously this didn't do as well. This would be your first entry. This would be your first entry. This would be your first entry here. Well, let me see. Hang on. All right, so this would have been the close of this bar would have been your first entry, which obviously this wouldn't have been as good because as soon as you got in there, it moved down. All right, let's see, but you know, here's the yellows, which is like we saw the yellows were in there. Here are the yellows. But one of the things I have seen, just kind of looking through this, and I just put this together the other day, so it's not like this is anything that I put a lot of time into or a lot of thought into. But one of the things that I do see is that prior to really taking one of these entries, it still needs to, and this is one of the things that I put on like all of my indicators, or the majority of my indicators that I'm enjoying these days, is that we still want to see a break of structure, right? So even though we have that blue there, or even though we have this this light blue here, you still want to see some type of break of structure. So again, I'm still in the process of putting all this stuff together. I don't really know what's going to be the best winner for me. Or like this one tapped into this range just above here. If that was a little bit more space there, you know, you call it a fair value gap. Now this is 1 minute time frame. Let's see what the 5 minute time frame looks like. Like I said, I know I haven't been on here in a while. So there's my blues. Blues look pretty good. Light blues. All right. Yellows. Yellow not doing as well there. Nordic greens. Light blues. Now the thing about the light blues is the light blue is based on four swings, 4 points. See, when I do light blue, you see at the bottom of that window there, it says pattern 4. So this is based on 4 points. Now the black, if you see a black one on here, is based on 5 points. The rest of these colors, this dark blue, the green, and the yellow, the red, are based on 3 points. So higher, low, higher, high, higher, low. And again, this light blue would be based on 4 points. And those 4 points would be based on, like when I come over here, I haven't even done it for the 15 seconds. So let me show you exactly what happens when I run this. All right, but so like for the 1 minute time frame, you see here, I've identified what 5 points there, 5 point pattern. I haven't done it for the 15 minute time frame. 5 minute time frame, 2, 4, 5. Okay. All right. But like I say, if you got something like this, and you say the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low happens most often. See how often the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low happens? It happens on all these. Actually every single one of these, except for that last one is different. So I say that, all right, well, the major similarity there is the first 4: lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. All right, so that's what I go and put into. I go here, edit studies, and for the reversal pattern 4, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, I put in the 4 points. The reversal pattern 5 has 5 points, and that one would come up as black. All right, so let me see if there was any black ones that came up. The black ones just, I mean, would take longer to kind of set up because you're looking for a larger pattern, and you know, you're looking for more points. All right, so black one came in here, right? So, I mean, do you consider that a win? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe. Is that one black? Yeah, that one's black. That first one's black, but it didn't encompass the break of structure that I was talking about, right? So, question is, what do you consider to be the break? This obviously, this is, you can call that a break of that one. You can call that a break. Call this a break, or you can call this a break. I don't know where you call it a break at, but either way, by the time you do break down through here, if you take either one of these, the next up is a nice bullish move, just short of this, that high right there. All right. Again, one day I'll figure out how to trade this stuff, but as for right now, and probably the next year, man, I'll just be gathering data, gathering information. Okay, so So let me show you exactly what happens. I think we had to do it on the 15-second time frame. This. Fail. Okay. All right, so let's pull it 15-second time frame chart. The sheet. Scroll over. All right, and then I'm going to type in the 15-second time frame right here for the study that we're on, and then you'll see that it's computing, and then it'll change this heat map according to the information that it finds. Okay, I guess since the information is the same, nothing changed. I'm still looking for it. We should still get a printout of the. There we go. Okay. No, we should still get a printout right in here of the higher pivot. If you have 20 bar swing low, we should be getting a printout in here of that. All right, let's go to the 15-minute time frame. See, again, excuse me, in this same area here that I'm looking at, I'm looking for that to show up on the 15-minute time frame and the 15-second time frame. All right, 15 minutes. I've done some modification to this script, so I've actually been having quite a bit of fun with this. And unfortunately, this is really turning into just a review session on this specific script. So hopefully I have enough energy to do any coding here. All right, but so whether or not I'm logging the data, I've made an input so that I can make that true or false. And then I got the file name there. So if I turn this to true, now it'll log the data. All right. See all the data changing over here, and then it gave me these. This would be the information again for the high time frame reversal, which would essentially be all I'm looking for. There is the like a 20 bar swing point. All right, so we go to the 15-second time frame. Now we're on the 15-second time frame, and then let's click 15-second. See it going through all its calculations, changing all these numbers. Heat map is changing a bit, but not too much. Oh, it changed a little bit. Our blue section got a little smaller. Still running. Okay, and so by the time it's finishing, blue section has gotten back as large as it was before. Still calculating. You gotta love this. You gotta love when you put multiple systems together. When you incorporate, different components. I mean, with trading, you got your psychology, but you also have numbers. So you have mathematics and statistics, and we pull Excel into it. We pull programming into it. I enjoy it. I'm sure there's a lot of people. Now look at all these. Done? All right, it's done. Then I also have a line on here that tells me when I completed the last calculation or computation. All right, so last run there. All right, so let's go down. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so if we go here, let's first move this, copy that, get my charts the same throughout. All right, so now I'm going to look at the unique ones, see how many unique ones there are. And right from here to here, down. Okay, so out of, wow. Okay, all right, so it goes down to line 576 or so for how many unique possibilities, excuse me, how many combinations there are. And as far as unique combinations, it goes down to 275. So there's about half as many. So now if you want to find out how many of these that you have, how many of this specific one that you have, the count amongst this array, then you just use equals count if, what's the range? This is the range. There's a quicker way to do this. It's like control end. All right, then you hit a comma, and what's the criteria? The criteria is what you have in this cell. Hit enter, and then you can hit that, double click. Should be able to double click and it'll drag down. All right, and then we got that. Okay, so this is the different number of this possibility here. This combination appears 3 times. This combination appears 4 times. Oh, this combination appears 13 times. That might be the highest. No, this one appears 25 times. Lower, high, lower, low. Okay, well, what did we pull? Now, this is the 15-second time frame. Lower, high, lower, low. Lower, high, higher, low. Okay, all right. I'm gonna try to put this into the script and see what kind of output it gives us. Okay, so it said that it was reversal 5 minutes, 5 point. It's got to be capital because it's case sensitive. Lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, higher, low, higher, high. Okay, now when we get that combination, it should show us being black. Okay, meanwhile, now you can't sort this because it's been concatenated. So while that works over there, we'll come back over here. And I'll show you. You want to sort A to Z. It won't let you sort this because it's been concatenated. So essentially what you have to do is I will copy this, copy it, and then I'm just going to replace it here. Paste that. Okay, so now you can sort this column. No. First you have to delete that. All copy. And then when you paste it, you have to paste the values. Otherwise, you're pasting the reference. All right, so you see when we pasted it there, typically you can go down to the bottom and it gives you the options. You want to paste the values. Now you see there, when we click on that, it's actually referencing the unique column. Now when we click on this, it's just pasting the values only. So now from here, we're able to do our sorting. So we'll do count if, range is from here. That wasn't the code. Nope. Trying to figure out what the code is, but well, I'll learn that tomorrow. We're just going to drag from here to here, from here to the bottom. Count if. Actually, we want to. This is where we're counting from within because these were all the combinations. These were all the combinations that were created. All right, and so the criteria is going to be here. Enter. Double click it. does it for the entire array that we're looking at here. All right, you see we got the 25 there. So now we can just start in this box, drag down and over that column just beside it. It's heading essentially. And sort filter from largest to smallest. You see the 25 show up there. All right, so now what we could do is you could go here, and then we could select it all, and then we'll go to insert, charts. Where is the heat map? Tree map. Okay, so there's that. There's just so many combinations here. Okay, but you see that the largest one is this lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high. All right, so if we go back over to our chart here, let's look and see when those appeared, when the black ones appeared. Oh, right there. Okay, so now if on the 15-second time frame you had got in, when you saw the entry there, again, like I said before, I think there needs to be a combination between finding these entries and having broken some structure. Whether you consider this wick to be broken, and you're looking here, or you consider this bottom, this actual last low to be broken, and you consider either one of these to get into. Let's just say you got in average right around here. I mean, it pretty much went up from right there with lower risk to reward, but that doesn't mean that that happens all the time. Let's see if we have any other opportunities. Okay, so here we got the black again. This is during morning hours, so 5:46 or so. So lower liquidity. Obviously, you see these candles aren't complete by any extent. And when we saw this entry here, it didn't then go and break any other structure, right? So that's the conundrum. Is when you see it, do you take it? Or when you see it, do you wait for a break? Or there's other possibilities when you see the entry, as long as you do still get some type of rejection, it could be a rejection of that movement itself, or it could be a rejection of this downward movement here, right? That downward movement was already rejected and moved up there. Downward movement is already rejected and moved up there. But this one here also had a downward movement and it was rejected. So again, got to figure out how to trade it. But there was a nice move up from there, right? Same thing here. You got these black marks there. Nice move up from there. Okay, so this one here looked like it did require that rejection. Or not the rejection, but because we did not get a wick down here, we did not get a movement down and a rejection of the movement down, we had to look for a break instead. Whether it was a break here or it was a break here. So, I don't know. The more that I kind of look at it and talk it through, the more I deciding how or if to trade it. But they definitely don't look bad though, and they are definitely in better places than I would just naturally randomly take trades. Because we all do that. We all randomly just take positions, and you say, hey man, why did you take that position? He said, I don't know, I had a good feeling about it. You can't hang your hat on the feeling. I mean, you can, but what do I know? Okay, so I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna get this out of here. And what is the task for today? Let's see, start to finish. I essentially wanted to show you how to do that, how to pull data in here, start to finish. Oh, we were talking about the breaks. Okay. So I'm gonna put a little bit of music on. I already told you what I'm planning to do. I'm looking for there to be a candle with so to find some lower lows and then find a higher high, and then once we find that higher high, we want to see, excuse me, that prior candle. We use that as the risk to reward, and so now we want to find out if the following candles first crossed this range +1 or this range from the entry -1, something like that. All right, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Let me try to bring up the chat or something. Otherwise, if you're following along later, then hopefully, I tell you what, you probably want to fast forward this or put it on like 2x speed, because I'm kind of slow at programming, especially when I'm running my yapper. We're 30 minutes into it, and I hadn't even touched the program. So I'm gonna just put my music on, and I'm just gonna get the coding. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna take the video down. I mean I'm gonna take down my little self-image. I get distracted. I think I have to tell you guys what's going on, and I don't think you guys are that much interested. If you did, you'd be putting comments and you'd want to know how I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, but I don't think you want to know all that stuff. So maybe you just want to see some of the code. So we'll do that instead. So I think what we want to do is we want to find if we have these breaks here, and then if we do have these breaks, we'll take a collection of we'll just put H or L into a vector. So when we get to the end of the bars, we'll count how many H's or L's that we have. So again, pretty much what we did here is we just said that once we have this break here that we're looking for, then we're going to take the range of that target candle, which we held in here, and the high that was held in there also, we're going to take that high plus the hold range, and if our high crosses over that, then we're going to say that we breached the high first. And if we have the hold range subtracted from the hold high, and the low crosses under that, we're going to say that we have an L first. We're going to have an L. And so those are put into the VPL.insert. Those are put into that vector. All right, so now let's just go ahead and verify that. All right, verify just fine. So now if we get to the last bar on the chart, if last X, then and VPL.count is greater than or equal to 1, then begin, and we want to, I tell you what, let's just print how many times it actually happened. So VPL.count. All right, come over here. All right, so it happened 628 times. Very good. All right, so what we're going to do now is we want to find out how many times there was a high break and how many times there was a low break. Because if there's a high break way more times than there's a low break, that means that this might just be a valid strategy. But if it's relatively equal, then again, the market got us. Okay, or we need to figure out some other criteria to employ some other filters employed with this to make sure that we don't get that break. Yeah. All right. So let's see if it's the last bar on the chart, VPL account, then I'm gonna do X check PL. So we're checking the P&L. We're checking the profit loss. So that's gonna be a method. So method void X check PL. Begin and we need a counter in here. So variable IDX. Okay, so for IDX equals 0 to VPL.count -1 begin, and so we need to, so if VPL of the index is equal to a high, then we're going to do a count high. Count high plus equal 1. If VPL of IDX equals low, then count low plus equal 1. Now remember, what's in here should either be a high or a low. So once we get a high, we could really return and get out of this. If we get a low, we could return and get out of this instead of going here and then going there. So the only thing about it is it puts more line on the code. And do you really want more line? You don't want it to be doing, you don't want it to process more, but you also don't necessarily want more code. But if you did want to put more code on there, you just put a then begin, you count plus 1H and then return. And again, since you don't really need this following here, then we don't need it here. So count low, count high, count low, count high. Okay, and remember, this has got to be as type string, because we're bringing information out of a vector, collection, dictionary, anything like that. All right, so if that's the case, the last bar, we're going to check it. So now we have all these values calculated for the count L and count H. And so what you come down here and do is once you print string dot format, we just put highs and then row. Highs is count H, lows is count L. Close that, hit that, boom. What? Not true. Said we only have one of those and we have one of those. All right, so we did check PL. For IDX equals 0 to VPL count -1. Oh, well, that's because once we got this one time, we returned it, and I guess the next one was, instead of being a high, it was a low, and so we got one for the high, one for the low. No, the first one must have been a low, so we put a low in the count low, and then the next one was a count high, and then we return out of the loop. So we don't want to return out of the loop. We just need to. I'm curious if this is where you use break it, because as you go through the loop, boom, 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 I want to break and then go back to the top of the loop. but I'm not sure if break works in the loop. I think break works in while statements. I don't know. We're gonna plot it there. All right, so when we ran it there, you see that we got 283 highs and 345 lows. So you know what that means, right? That means that in this specific type of strategy that we just talked about, it's going to hit the high 283 times before it hits the low. So it's going to hit the low. It's going to hit the low a lot more times than it hits the high. 345 times out of the 628, it's going to hit the low first. So that is a losing strategy. Actually, that's a strategy. That would probably be a strategy to go short, right? So when you get this, go short. So here, this was the break, and this was your this would have been your entry above the high there, and this would have been your exit down here, right? And so this would have been this would have been your entry, and this would have been your exit. So on this bar here, yes, it would have worked great. But on this bar here, that is the break. This right here, this is the previous high. So this would be your entry, right? And if that's your entry, then the range of it comes down to here, right? So that'll be your entry, that'll be your stop loss. The new parallel. So obviously this would have been your take profit up here, but it hit hit your stop loss first, right? So that's pretty much all we're doing over and over and over, over and over and over. Yeah, so again, that might be 345 times out of 283. I mean, excuse me, 345 times out of 628. 283. Yeah, maybe that's when you go short. Okay, all right, so what I want to do though, part of this exam was to put this into a spreadsheet. All right, so we're opening up Excel. We're gonna make a new Excel file. We're gonna call it high breaks. I just got to figure out where to put it. Okay. High break. Okay, so starting off like this, just call it high break, and then so from here, see what values do we want to put in this bad boy. We want to put, let's put the bar number that we have the break at, right? Or not the bar number, the bar date time. Okay, and then the next one will be the high that we're holding. Hold high. and then the next one will be the hold range, and then we'll put whether or not it was a break of the high or break of the low, so PL. All right, so this is, now I could obviously have done this within the program, but it's just easier to do it here. And so then we're going to be starting on the first column, second row. So it'll be 1, 2. Okay, so whenever we get, if the high crosses over the high of 1, all right, so first off, we need to go ahead and open up the Excel file. I break. I'm just getting the path. Say I'm pulling the path name because I need that for the program. And it's EL system to office dot Excel. Okay, so then in our once, well, so I think we need a workbook. We'll call it WKBK. No. So in our once statements, we'll have open the workbook. Okay, so we'll have WKBK equals, and I don't think that when you instantiate it, you don't necessarily initialize it. So we have our instance that we're creating here, workbook, do.create, and you have a parentheses. It doesn't, open parentheses, it doesn't do anything. There's nothing to put in there. So from there, workbook, workbook.create, workbook not sure if we need a loaded or active sheet first. Let's load it first. I know that it's a certain sequence that it wants to see it in. We'll load it. That's true. Tell you what, I think we do the active sheet first. Active sheet. You can either do, I think here you do the index. So, and it's 1 base, it's not 0 base. So if you have the Excel sheet here, you see this is sheet 1. If we did a sheet 2, sheet 3, this would be, this index here will be index 1, index 2, index 3. You know, normally when we're doing anything with EasyLanguage, we have pretty much a 0 base indexes for a lot of stuff, collections. This will be 0, 1, 2. It's not that way with Excel. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So we're going to do an index of 1 for our active sheet. Active sheet is 1. All right, workbook load, true. Okay, now, let's see. That's pretty much it. Let's verify it. This workbook not opened. So this does have to be loaded first before you figure out the active sheet. Come back over here, turn this on. File name property is empty. All right. Hang on. All right, had a little doggy visit me. Okay, so yeah, we gotta load this workbook, then the active sheet. But yes, for the name, and I don't know why it didn't come up, but for create, for the instantiation, pretty sure it needs a file name in there. try this, or just do workbook dot file name there, and then we'll paste that there. Now verify, that's fine. Come back over here, turn it on. It says workbook not opened. All right, so wait a minute. I think I moved something. Somehow I got rid of the load when I was messing around there. All right. Workbook not opened. Created file name. I think we need to load it and then do the active sheet. Now we're in business. Okay. All right. EasyLanguage can be a little fickle, and it doesn't always give you the directions of what to do first and what, when, where. So, you know, whatever. We'll work with it. I'm willing. All right. So if high crosses over high of embargo, then not only we're going to put high, hold high into a storage, the high of embargo into a storage container of hold high, but we're also going to put that into Excel. Okay. And because I didn't save what I had here before, once it opened it up just a second ago, it deleted everything on here. All right, so what we need to do is we need to have bar date, time. I forgot what else I had. Bar date, time, hold high, hold range, and PL, the break. All right, so now I save that. I put it back in there. Now I save that. Okay, so now in order for us to, what's going to happen is when we get that first instance, we're going to print it here. If we don't have some way to send us to the next line and the next line and the next line and the next line, then we will end up printing on the same line over and over, and we'll just write on the same line. And when we open this up, we'll only have one thing here, and we'll wonder why. So we need to have some way to keep track of what line we're on. So we'll have something called workbook line, and then we'll start off again. We need to not start off on line 1 because we have stuff here. We need to start off on line 2. Put a 2 there. Okay. So now if it crosses over, then we want to do workbook dot sheets, the first sheet. Okay, and we could put the sheet name if we had multiple sheets like I do in the other script. All right, so workbook.sheets, and this is going to be a string, so we'll do sales as string. And we're putting the, no. We're going to put the, this is going to be a double. So we'll put the double there. Sales is double, is that one? Hold H, but then we also want to do workbook dot sheets dot sales as double. We want to get that bar date time. No, we'll do it as a string. So we're gonna go okay. All right, so now, wow, I didn't even say what cell to put it in. All right, so we need this hold high will be the 1, 2, will be the second column, and it'll be at what line? It'll be workbook line. And this first one, the bar date time, will be in the first column, and it'll be workbook line. All right, the whole range will be the third column at workbook line. Workbook dot sheets 1 dot sales as double. Third column workbook line equals code range, and then the last one is the P&L, the PL. So that one's going to be a little bit tricky. So let's put all this in first. So when we get done with this, when we get to the end of the high crossing over the high of a barcode, when we get to the end of doing everything that we're going to do here, we're going to take workbook line and we're going to add one to it so it'll be ready for the next iteration. Okay, so let's go over here, verify that. Workbook line. Bam, that is quick, man. That is quick. Just no sooner than I pressed the button, all this popped up. Okay, all right, so you see we have all these dates here. This is the hold high, this value here. This is the hold range. Now, I think we have to be a little bit tricky here when we're trying to figure out how to plot into here whether it was a high break or a low break, because all right, so we have our flag here, and because they're in sequential order, actually it wouldn't be that much of an issue. So once this runs through, we have our break. So the very next thing after our break will be, we have our condition, our criteria. So the very next thing that will happen after that, before we can get into a new one of these, is that we will have a break. I think. It's a possibility if you have like small candles like this, you could have a break. We probably need to turn it off so that no new break can happen until no new criteria condition can happen until that trade is exited, that condition has been met. So high has to cross, if the high crosses over H of 1 and a flag is not been thrown, and flag we can just use that flag look for PL equals false. Because then once it crosses, if the flag is true, that now we're looking for it, and something crosses, we get the hold range, crosses over that, then we're going to insert that, and then we just need to turn the flag off. Begin flag. Okay. All right, so now if we do get across, not only do we want to insert the H or the L, but if it's an H, then let's go ahead and put the H and our P and L H. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4th column, and then the workbook line, 4th column workbook line. Okay, so we will do workbook dot sheets dot sales as string of 4 workbook line equals H. And then we'll just copy that. And this will be L. All right. See, we didn't get anything in that first spot there, and I don't know why. So let me. This came down here. It did come down to the final line. Why isn't there anything in that first spot? Oh, I know why. Because before we got down here, we went ahead and went to the next line. So we just need to copy this, actually cut it out, and only go to the next line after the condition has been broke. So it could be either one of these will qualify to, because only one of them is going to happen. The way this script works, only one of them happens. All right, so we re-verified that. All right, now we came back to it, and it is just fine. All right, now so the way that this works here is, now that this data has been printed here, you want to have something in your script that has save on close. So once you close out the program or something like that, all this data gets saved. Now, if I was to type something like this right here, right, then I go back over to my script, and then I re-verify it. Now, when I come back over here, as long as I'm not in this space, I don't lose this. Okay, wait a minute. What just happened? All right, let's get rid of this. Open it back up. There it is. Okay. All right, let's make that bold. We're gonna go ahead and save this. Once I save that, I can close that. All right, I hit re-verify. So now when I opened it, it came back open with this information here. Eric was last here at 3:11. At 3:11. You got me? At. Okay, so I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to leave that open. Then I just reran the program. And when I reran the program, you see it got rid of Eric was last here, right? It's got my data back in, but that's because when I did Eric was last here, I didn't save that info. And then when I went back and I ran the program, now it made the modifications to the sheet, but it didn't see what I had already put there. So anyway, when you do make modifications like this, you probably want to go ahead and Eric was here, save it, right? And then once you save it, now you come over here, you can rerun it, and then when you rerun it, it's still here. Okay. So again, like if you want to do something with a table or something that works outside of the data that you have here, because this data is going to keep changing based on your script. But this table here will always reference whatever you selected. I'm going to save that, and we go over here and then switch to like the 1 minute time frame. Now these numbers change, right? All these numbers change, but this table is still here. But instead of referencing the bar information from the 5 minute time frame, now it's referencing it from the 1 minute time frame. All right, I think I passed this exam. And guess who's grading it? Me. Know what I mean? All right. 43 highs on the 1 minute time frame. 96 hit the high first 96 times and the low first 88 times. So now that's looking good for taking it long. What was the 283 and the 345? I think that was a 15-second time frame. 131 and 120. 15 minute time frame. 34 and 42. 5 minute time frame. Minute time frame. And second time frame. Okay. Actually, I don't know which time frame is which, right? But overall, it does look like it breaks the high more often than not. I don't know what we were looking at when we saw the 283 and 345. I don't know what time frame that is. So in that instance, guys, what you want to do is when you do your print statement, so you can make your information useful, as well as if you're doing it well for like Excel or something like that, you might change the name of the we'll make this ESZ24 because I'm doing all this with ES. But again, just like with my other sheet that you saw, that you can put all your other information up here, it'll print out really nicely, really nicely. All right, but what I want to do here is I want to, in this print statement here, string highs, lows, I also want to put here the, I don't need to put the ticker because I know what that is, but I want to put the time frame. All right, so for the time frame, I like to have a variable called btype, and that is a string. Okay, and then so we'll do a one statement, and then time frame. Time frame is equal to bar interval, and that's a string. So we'll do bar interval, which is a number. So a number to string, bar interval, and we're going to have no decimal places. And then btype, if bar type, I think it's 2, no, maybe 1. If bar type is equals 1, then b type equals minute, and else if bar type equals 14, then we're talking about seconds, then b type equals seconds. All right, so now time frame is equal to whatever the bar interval is, whether it's 1, 5, 15 second, 5 minute, whatever, that number, a space, and then the minutes or seconds. So plus b type. B type. Bar type equals 1, then type, b type. It's not unknown, it's right up here. Gotta spell it right. Okay, so now that we have our time frame here, now we go back down here and we're going to put time frame. We've already got 0, 1. So let's do 2. All right. Stick our fingers, stick our fingers. All right, so the 15-second time frame is going to have highs. It's going to hit your high 130 times, hit your low 120 times. Now that's going to be out of a total of 0, 1, 2. 3 is going to be the total count in the EPL dot count. All right, there we go. All right, and yes, 131 plus 120 is equal to 251. So on the 15-second time frame, we see that yes, the high will get hit more often than the low. And now it does matter how many bars back, how far you look too, right? Because if you're looking in a very finite area, which is primarily a bullish window, then you might more likely see the highs getting hit more than lows. So context does matter. All right, so on the 1 minute time frame, you got highs 96, lows 88. So again, looking like highs is still winning. Sorry, 1 is the 5 minute time frame. 5 minute time frame, 43 and 38, still winning on the 5 minute time frame. 15 minute time frame. So what you want to do is you probably want to take this and run it across some filters and make sure that you don't have that certain bias. All right, so on the 15 minute time frame, you do see that the low gets hit quicker than the high gets hit, right? This is looking back 10 bars on the 15 minute time. 1 minute time frame, we're looking back 5 bars, 5 days. So what if we change that from 5 days to even it out more? Let's do 50 days. Let's see how long it takes it to calculate. Already done? Already done. Minute time frame, 198, 137. So, not bad, not bad, not bad. Well, yeah, so the high does get hit more frequently. But again, talking about the 1 minute time frame, if we look back on like 15-minute time frame, you can see even back 50 days. Let's look at the daily, because 50 days, I mean, we've still been in a bullish trend. All these days here, last 50 days, whatever you want to call it, month and a half or so, that take us back middle of September. Yeah, so all these days are pretty much bullish days anyway. All right. Well, guys, that's pretty much all I have for today. I am back to doing some thinking, trying to be creative, trying to come up with something else that will help me decipher the market. Because I mean, I think any of us can just guess. I think we can all just guess and put our entries in the market just by guessing. But have something to hang your hat on. It just requires a little more. All right, and with that being said, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.